Hello? Hey. Yes, I'm ready. Uh-huh. You what? What do you mean the car broke down? So it broke down right on the bridge? Okay. Uh-huh. Bye. Oh, what does it seem like everything has just been falling apart lately? The phone calls haven't been going through. He hasn't been answering my text messages. My computers and my laptop has crashed down. There's no way that I can turn in my assignment, and I haven't even gotten called back for this job. What could be possibly going wrong here? Why is everything falling apart all of a sudden? Well, bonjour, belles amis, qui jaune, oye, m'sweet bien, Wimmerley, Drika Chantrell, and welcome to your energy forecast predictions for Mercury Retrograde. If you don't understand what is going on, have no fear. Your favorite tarot bay is here. Mercury Retrograde isn't here to ruin your life. It's here to force you to face what you've been avoiding. Known for its powers and rulings of communication in the sign of Gemini or Virgo, the planet of planning, the planet of fresh ideas, the planet of speech and intellect, dialogue between here in this world and the worlds outside of us. In this segment, we'll be talking about Mercury retrograde and how it can affect your communications, your plannings, your relationships, and otherworldly types of communications that you may not be able to control, but you can work with. So, what is Mercury retrograde? Mercury retrograde is in charge of your communications, the way that you communicate between self and others, the way that you think, the way that you plan, and the way that you travel. But it seems as though that things can start to go backwards. Things seem a little bit slower or completely at a halt to where you can't even complete the task at hand. Or can you? We will be looking through the ways that you can work with Mercury retrograde so that you won't look at it as an enemy planet, but a planet that is here to help you to resort, revise, and to reflect. Keep in mind that when Mercury slows down, it is not to punish you, but it is here so that you can pay attention. Pay attention to the minute, small details because every detail counts. So take your time, right? Take your time to plan little small tasks at a time so that they can be easily achievable or easily maneuverable, right? Because you have to work with the energy. Energy changes, right? Mercury deals with two mutable signs, the masculine sign of Gemini, which does not define sexuality, and the feminine sign of Virgo, that humanitarian sign, and Gemini, that leader of intellect, communication, and all the things that have to do with reaching a higher intelligence. Did you notice that most Geminis are very academically smart? And most Virgos are very, very particular when it comes to paying attention to detail. So, when it comes to your communication, it's very important for you, especially as Geminis and Virgos, but not limited to Geminis and Virgos. You have to pay attention to the details in how you communicate and how you decide to relay messages, including with your technology. If something breaks down, do you have a backup plan in order to still be able to achieve and accomplish these communications and these plans or these business modalities if you have the tools to work with it? During Mercury retrograde, things seem to get a little bit more intensified when it comes to being misunderstood and getting in a little bit more of a, I would say, defense mode, to where you're trying to say something and someone takes it the wrong way, and let's say you're texting someone, they could read your tone as an aggressive tone, although you didn't mean anything of it, but to them it came off the wrong way, and now you're here trying to apologize and to, say you're sorry. I recently just went through this. I'm not going to mention the incident, but I recently just went through a situation to where something came off more vulgar than what it should, but it was through text, so I couldn't really, fight the case of, oh, I didn't really mean it. All I could say was I apologize that I offended you. I didn't even say if, I said that I offended you, because you can't tell anyone how to feel, right? So that's just what it is. But I knew that it was Mercury retrograde. Now this person may not know what's going on, but I didn't fight the issue or the energy because I already knew what was going on. Like, okay, they're taking it the wrong way. They're taking it personal. So I'm just going to apologize and I'm going to quietly move on. And during Mercury retrograde, it's very important for you to pick and choose your battles. You don't have to go back and forth with things that come off as uncertain, especially if you didn't mean it that way. Just try your best to diffuse and to just let go and just let energy be fluid and just go ahead and go with the flow, okay? If it's in your energy and if it aligns with you. Also, when it comes to, text messages, like I said, phone calls, emails, all of these things you just need to pay attention to. Think of the 5 of air or the 5 of swords and the 5 of wands. 5 of air, someone feeling as though that they're ahead, but in a way that's kind of cheating, right? So make sure that you pay attention to, if you're in school and you're dealing with your studies, that it doesn't come off that you're, maybe doing some plagiarism and things like that. That's the little details that you have to pay attention to when it comes to Mercury retrograde. Also, let's talk about the relationships, the blast from the past. Those people that you haven't heard from in years, a year to 5 years, maybe even 10 years or longer. They seem to always come back. For me, the exes or the secret admirers or the people that had, looked at me away or I maybe was interested in, yeah, they always come back during Mercury retrograde. And I always tell them, you're not going to last long. You're only going to last for 21 days because it lasts for 21 to 28 days, somewhere around there, because you deal with that 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde, and then you deal with the shadow period for the week after, right? So just be mindful of those exits. You have to be able to distinguish what's real and what's a perception. Things are misunderstood because they're perceived. People are projecting onto you. It's more so a projection more so than facts. So make sure that you're paying attention to facts over fiction or facts over projecting that something is what it really isn't. You could have an array of illusions over your mind or over your clear thinking or just energy overall because of the planetary placements of Mercury seeming as though that it's going backwards on Earth's perspective, that things are just going all wrong. But it's not going all wrong. It's a test for you to sit down and study the energy so that you can master and ace that test. So again, who is most likely affected the most? Geminis, Virgos, also 3rd and 6th house placements, which is the 3rd house that has to do with your siblings, your relationships that are supposed to be close knit, and that 6th house energy, which is your overall home life, your health, your well-being, your work life. So the 3rd, the 6th house placements may be mostly affected, and also those that are possibly avoiding those tough conversations that try to avoid having them by just settling and just dealing with it instead of just facing the challenge that is presented in front of you in order to nip in the bud and stop it. Now, although these placements or these zodiac signs may be the most affected, all of us feel when the beautiful planet of Mercury does that powerful shift. Last but not least, what can we do to work with the beautiful Mercury retrograde? What we can do is sit back and quietly observe. Mercury does not reward panic or chaos. Mercury rewards quiet observation. The observation that causes you to powerfully and critically analyze. This beautiful planetary placement is not a planet of chaos, or it's not a test of chaos and destruction. It is a test of correction. Thank you so much. My name is Jerika Chantrell, also known as Blue Jay, and I can't wait to see you for your next upcoming energy forecast. Au revoir.